In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a basic homepage for your website using the Divi Builder or Divi theme for WordPress. Now, while there's no standard homepage that works for everyone, this video will give you a bit of an idea on just a few ideas and layouts you can use, and also using the Divi Builder step by step on how to do it. So what we're going to do for the sake of this video is we're going to have some kind of a bit of a hierarchy. We're going to have some kind of hero image at the top of the page, something that sort of tells people who we are and what we do, and also a bit of a call to action to have them go to a page or somewhere else. We're then going to say a little bit about who we are, linking off to an about page, and maybe talk about some of the services that we offer. And we're also then going to say, hey, here's the latest from our blog, and then also link off to, say, I've got a portfolio page there, so just pop that there as an example, and then down the bottom, a contact us call to action. So the way that we're looking at this is homepage is essentially a page to tell people who we are and give them a gateway into the site without bombarding them with too much information and text. Something that's visual, that guides the eye and makes it easy for people to explore the site. So let's get started with that. Now I'm logged into my little test WordPress site we've been working on, and I'm going to head out here to my homepage. Now one thing you'll notice here is that I've actually got a homepage there. If for some reason you just have an automatic blog page in place there, just quickly head back to your dashboard, down to settings and reading, and make sure you've created a page called home, and just make sure under here the home page is linked to home. Otherwise it might simply say your latest posts. Turn that on, select home, and you can then actually go out and your home page will be a dedicated page that you create. So I just want to touch on that quickly before we get stuck into it. So now we're heading back out to the public side of the site by going up top here. We're going to enable the visual builder. Now I've got a bit of a layout here which I'm going to actually get rid of. So going down the bottom here to this little purple circle, I'm going to go and click the trash bin. It's going to get rid of everything on the page, and we're going to start fresh. Now the first thing I want to do is we want to add some kind of hero image or call to action to the top. So if I go here and click plus, I'm gonna, because I can't remove this without sort of having to add another regular section in, we're going to add a full width section in underneath. I'm just going to close that for now, and I'm going to move that up. Keeping in mind the look of the site as it is currently, we're going to try and stick to that brand to make sure that we have everything the way we want it. But what we can do, we can add in a full width module here, and you can see we've got a few options. Now you can add a full width slider if that's the way that you want to go. You can add a slider in there with several slides, and I actually got another video on that I will send pop into the description below, so that way you have some reference if you want to create a slideshow, because what we're actually going to do today is work on a full width header. However, feel free to check out any of these in the future if you want to. You can even just have it as an image. You can have a post slider if you are primarily running a blog. So you've got a few options there. We're going to go with the full width header so we can just tell people very quickly what it is we do and hit them up with a call to action. So we've got our header here. It's very difficult to read. So we've got the full width header settings on the left here, and they've popped up automatically. So I'm going to scroll down to background here, and I'm just going to make that black. So now we can see what we're looking at, and we're going to scroll back up and just put some information in there. Now you obviously don't really care too much about the actual information I'm going to put in there, but to give you an idea of what I'm thinking is a good guideline. So we've got here Pivot Lifestyle Blog, which is a fake website I'll come up with. So I'm going to say improve your lifestyle something straight to the chase. That's what this blog is about. And so we go to our subtitle here, and we say here tips and free information to take control of your life and live it to the fullest, or something like that. And of course, if you want even more text, you have the body text down here, but we're going to just delete that. Keep it very simple. You see we've got click here, click here. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to just quickly tick out of this. And I'm going to actually say we're going to have a button there that says learn more, so people can scroll down, learn more about what it is that we're doing, or a button here that has contact us, because maybe we offer some services, or maybe we want people to subscribe to an email newsletter. And another video that is coming is how to set up a subscription form using the Divi builder. But for now, we're just going to send that off to a page. If you do not know how to set up an email form, you can simply use one of my MailChimp or ConvertKit videos. Another thing I'll link to below, and you can just set up a basic page with a form to get started. Otherwise, yeah, I'll link to other videos if they are done by the time you watch this video. All in the description below. There's going to be a ton of videos down there. So I'm going to go here to this blue area here, which is a regular row. The purple is a full width row, and there's a green area there, but we don't want to get too caught up in sections, rows, and columns just yet. I'm going to go to this cog symbol on the blue. I'm going to go over to Advanced, to CSS ID and Classes, and under the ID, I'm going to put About Us Row. I'm just going to right click and I'm going to copy that. So CSS ID, About Us Row, and I click tick. I'm going to go back into our heading. So I'm hovering over the heading, the gray box has popped up, and I'm going to click the cog here. And then under button 1, I'm going to say Learn More. And then I'm going to scroll down to link and put hash About Us Row. Now, in this instance, I'm actually going to use a contact page for the other button because I actually don't have a subscription page put up. So while I'm here, I can right click on this contact button here, copy the link address, and pop that under link number 2. So that way, anyone who clicks on the next button will be able to contact us. I can go back up here to text, and at button 2, I can say contact us. Once again, this can be any page, but for the sake of this video, that's what we're doing. Now, one thing I want to touch on as well. These two buttons look identical. It'd be good to differentiate them somehow. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've got our information in there, I'm going to go over to the Design tab. Now, we're not going to go through everything here, but if you want to adjust anything to do with the layout, like as you want it centered, or you want it right aligned, left aligned, we'll come back and play with those a little bit. We'll check this out as well. But you can go through and find the various areas such as text and adjust things like the font and size and anything you want. And because in this series we've been looking at building a full website, we've actually determined that we want to use Poppins for our main font. So I'm not going to be changing any fonts, but it's simple. This is where you can find that information if you want to have a play. What we're going to do is focus on the button though. So we've got Contact Us and Learn More. I'm going to go to button number 1, which is the Learn More button. I'm going to click Yes to use custom styles. Now, what I can do here is change things like the text color. I'm going to choose white. With the button background, maybe I'll choose black. Although maybe you want it to be semi-transparent, so I click on the black and move this slider down about halfway. And the button border color, because we have a 3-pixel border, we're going to make that white. Now head back to content, and now we have these two buttons that look different, and we probably want people to contact us because it's our main call to action. So that one is the green, stands out a little bit more, and will probably work better for us. Now, what we want to do is actually add in some imagery in the background that's going to tell the story. So here, we're under content again, under background. I'm going to go over here to image and add a background image. And we're going to pick one of these. We're going to say this one here. It looks pretty good. We're going to add that image. So improve your lifestyle. And now we can start to take control of the design a bit more under those design settings. We're going to look at what we have here and basically solve a few problems. So first of all, it's a little bit narrow. I want it to take up a bit more space. Now, if I head over to design, one thing I can do under the layout is make it full screen. And what this does is it literally makes it the height of your screen. And you can even add a scroll down icon here, turn that on. So when people click that, they automatically scroll down. So that's a cool, nifty sort of like feature if you want your image to take up the full screen. And you can even go into your Divi page options here, choose the blank template so you don't even have your website header. You just get hit with a full screen when they land. So that's a handy feature if you want to play with that. I personally don't want that for this video, and I don't recommend everyone do it, but in certain cases it can work. So I'm going to turn off the scroll button, go up to layout and turn off make full screen. So it's actually a bit bigger now for whatever reason. It's now snapped back into place. I'm going to go down to spacing, and I'm just going to make the margin, the padding, make sure it's the padding, not the margin, about just a bit taller here. So maybe 150 by 150. So that's not bad. I'll link the two up. I'm going to make it just a little bit less. Maybe we'll go 120 for both. So that's a nice size. And of course, I don't know how that's going to work on mobile, so I'm going to hover over padding, click the little mobile icon, click on tablet. Looks good on the tablet. On mobile, it might be a little bit big, so I'll change this to say 80 and just sort of tighten it up a bit. So this is looking not too bad, but maybe that text is a little bit too hard to read. So one thing I can do, I can go up and go to my title text, add a drop shadow. Maybe I then go up, close the title text, and go up to, say, the subtitle text. Same thing, add a shadow. Still not satisfied with it. So we scroll up, we click on overlay, and we can actually pick a color. We can pick black, and again we can pick this color, tone down the transparency, or you can pick this green color, which I've saved, and use that. Turn that transparency down a bit. We've got a few options. I think the black works best here, and we don't want it too strong. We don't want it too light. We sort of want it just enough to lift that text off the background. This can be the same if you're using black text. If you decide to use black text and you've got a background, you can use white and create a white background to invert that effect. But now we have a full width header. Now, once again, I do have a video that fully explores the full width header if you want to learn more. Now, one thing we're going to do now is I want to break up the sections we mentioned. So the next row, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to make the background black. And I'm not quite done with the top row yet. What I'm going to do, now I've got that black there, just so we can see, I'm going to go up here to this cog symbol, go to design. So just to backtrack a bit, I'm not going to the full screen module, which we just edited. I'm going to the purple row sections here, clicking on that. I'm going to go to design and dividers. I'm going to click bottom divider to add an effect on the bottom here. So I can, under divider style, I can click and find something I think is going to work well. Maybe I'll choose something sort of very easy, like this curve, so something like that. And I can actually pop that height down a bit, make it a bit more subtle. And I can actually choose a color if I want to. So the green wouldn't work because of it blending the black, so we'll choose black. It does automatically try to match it, but it's not always 100%. I do recommend actually matching the color yourself. Click tick. So now we have this here. So now we're in our section. And I've explained in another video, but I'll touch on it quickly again. This blue area is a section that you can add multiple rows into. And the green section here is a row. And within that row, I can add columns. And within those columns, modules of content, such as text, images, buttons, anything that Divi has available. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a little about sort of text here. I'm actually going to go with something like this. So I've got one column that's sort of about maybe a third, or 2/3, or something like that. I'm going to add in some text. And I'm going to remove all this. I'm going to put live life to the fullest and fix up the typos. I'm going to make this a heading 2 since we already have a heading 1. But you'll notice the text is black on black and it can't be read. So I'm going to go over to design, and under text, I change it from text color from dark to light, and all the text settings will be reflected in to look light. Now also, this text is a little small at the moment, so I'm going to scroll down to heading text. Because we chose a heading 2, under heading text here in heading 2, I'm going to click on that and just bump the size up a little bit. And I'm going to now head back to content, back to text. I'm just going to hit enter. Let's say this is the pivot mission. All right. Another thing too is maybe we want that text to be the green. I head back to design. I go to text, I choose this green color, and it makes the text, anything that's not a heading, since heading has its own design area, it's going to make that green. So I click tick, and you can see we've got a little heading here. And over on the right, we're going to put a little bit more information with a link to our About page. So if I actually add this module, I'm going to go and create a call to action. Now by default, most call to actions come with a background color. So we're just going to scroll down to background here and turn that off. The use background color, I'm going to turn that off. We head back up the text. We're just going to wipe out the title here. You can have a title at the top if you want to. So simply change that to, my title, whatever you want to put there. For now, I'm going to wipe that out. I'm going to add read about us as the button. I'm going to scroll up to the About Us page. I'm going to right click, copy link address, and head down to the link, right click that link URL and paste. So now we have a little button there, read about us. Now it also looks a bit funny because our text is centered next to this over here. So I'm going to go up again to text. I'm going to to design. And I'm going to go, I believe it's to text, and choose text alignment left. And now we have this to the left there. Go back to content, and we can type up a brief little description of what we're about. So I'm just going to skip ahead. Okay, so I've typed up some information just in here. And you can see we've got a bit of information there, a little bit of a title describing who we are, and I can essentially start moving forward from there. Now, another thing I want to look at, this text spacing's a little bit much, so we're going to go into design again and into body text. And we have the body line height, which is like 2.4. We can drag that down, up and down. Any of the text elements you want to change, such as line height, letter spacing, line size, fonts, weight, the color of your links even. So if you have a black background and a link shows up and it's too dark, you can actually go here to your links and change that link color. So that's all there to play with, and you can basically go through and change all those little bits and pieces in there, and even add shadows if you wish. Just make sure you click tick to apply those settings. So we're done with our little about row. It's given a little bit of information about who we are, and it links off to our about page so people can learn more about us. And of course, we're going to look at creating an about page in the future, but right now we just want to link off. So the next thing we're going to do is talk about our services. So I'm going to add another section. Let's make it a regular section, and I'm going to make it a single column. And I'm just going to make it text. And all we're going to do is say what we offer, highlight that, once again, make it heading 2. And I can actually center it here if I want to. I can also do it under design here for text. I can make the alignment centered down here, or I can simply center a particular part of text here. So there's more than one way to do it, but we're going to do it that way for now. I'm going to tick. One thing I want to do is I want to get this little curve, which I don't think is disappearing in the editor right now. This little curve at the top here to create a cool little effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the section, go to the blue cog, go to design and dividers. Now this time I'm going to choose the top divider. I'm going to choose the same effect we chose earlier, which is this. And it's not quite looking the way we want to, so we need to flip it. So we're going to go down here to divider flip and flip it. And the height is going to be, again, a bit more subtle. Okay, so now we have a bit of a cool effect here in the middle with the about information. Another thing I'm going to add here is a little divider line. So I'm going to go divider. And we've got a very thin green line there. So under design here, I'm going to go to line. The line color is green. I want the line position to be vertically centered. I don't know why they choose top. It's just a bit better when it's vertically centered. And I go to sizing here. And this is where I can adjust the weight of the line. You can see it getting much thicker. And I can also change the max width. I can either choose a percentage, or I can even type in here 500 px to make it 500 pixels and center that. So I'm actually going to dial that all the way back to 300 pixels and tick. Now the next thing we're going to do is I don't really want to just keep typing more text here. I'm going to do, it's a bit of a common design thing, but you can use it effectively if you've got the time. I'm going to add in here a new row and go 3 columns. And the first thing I'm going to add is a blurb here. The reason I'm going to add a blurb is I'm going to say, go into detail about some of the services we offer. So I can say online coaching. And our line spacing again is a bit tight, but if I head into design and title text, I can go down here and make that letter spacing a bit bigger, or maybe I'll just make it 1 or -1. That doesn't look too bad. Make the text size a bit bigger. And I'm also going to align the text to the center, although that's the title. So actually go up to the main text tab, align to center there, so it aligns everything. And I could put a little bit of information here, such as, we will help you one-on-one to achieve your goals, or something like that. And we can go in here to image and icon. So we're on the content section here, go to image and icon, and we can add in an image. But what I think is really cool about Divi is you have an icon library. So you can choose to create an image for yourself or go to use icon. And then you get all these icons to choose from. And you can go through and scroll through one by one. I could type in coach, or maybe whistle, or I can search for something. They didn't quite exactly have that. It's not super comprehensive, but it's pretty comprehensive. So online coaching, we can choose something here. So maybe we choose a person. And then we've got a few different people there that we can talk with. So we've got maybe this here, online coaching, and we click OK. And I really like the way that's laid out, but do I want to keep having to customize every single one? I don't. So I'm going to duplicate this by clicking this on the gray module, this little 2 squares here. And then I'm going to click on this duplicate down the bottom here, hover over the arrows, and just drag that over here. Some reasons that it's actually ended up over there. Duplicate this again, grab the arrow, move it across until it lands there. So now we can go and add something else. Instead of online coaching, maybe I'll say, see our e-course, and say sign up for our course. Obviously you want something a bit more descriptive than that, such as some benefits, or why they want to do that. Go back down to the icon and choose a different icon. I don't know if there'll be anything to do with course, so maybe we will just say maybe a pen or something like that. I don't know. You can also, I believe you might be able to add in some options here, but you sort of get the idea. Maybe a book. So we'll choose this. See our e-course. This really depends on what you're doing. This is why images can be powerful, but if you find an icon that suits, that can work too. And then at the end we can just say free, at the top here, title, free information. See our blog for free tips, or something like that. And then of course we're going to go down to our icon again and pick something else. So we've got this page starting to come together now. And this is obviously, it's a bit more of a guideline. Like nothing here is too 100% perfect. But now we need to link these up. So I'm not going to link all of these up right now, but I will show you how to do it so you can do it in the future. So let's just say we want to read our blog. I'm going to right click and copy the link to the blog. And I'm going to hover over our free information blurb, go down to link. And you're pretty much always going to find a link tab here, because you can either have a title link URL where they click on the title and it goes off to that, or you can actually have a module link URL, so they click anywhere on this module, they'll be taken there. So I'm going to pop a link to that there. So now if they click anywhere on this module, it will take them to the blog and they can see what we have to offer. Now, the next one is a little bit different. We're going to go into creating like a little latest blog post section / portfolio. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split this up into 2 sections on the 1 row. I'm going to actually go plus over here and add a regular row. Go 2 columns. And the first one is going to be the blog. So I'm just going to go here to, actually I'm going to go to text, create a text module. And I'm just going to type in here our latest blog post. And I'm going to make this heading 2. Or maybe we'll make it heading 3 since we're doing something smaller. Now, it's sort of all blending together, so we do want to try and get another color in the background here. I'm going to go to the cog symbol over here, to background, and I can just make it this green if I want to. But I actually don't, I think I wouldn't mind having something a little bit more interesting in the background. So I'm going to actually go to image over here, add a background image, and choose, say, these leaves. And it's going to be a bit hard to see. So we can go to, now sometimes you'll get an overlay here. We don't have one for this. So another option is to go to the gradient section here and add a background gradient. Now if I click on this blue color, I can select the green. If I select this color, I can select the green again, or I can find a color here in the color picker. It doesn't really matter where you get the color from because I've added this one in here. It's convenient. But what I can do while I'm clicking on this color is I can just bring the transparency down a little bit. Now you can't see a difference over here because if I scroll down, place gradient above background image hasn't been turned on. So by turning that on, I now have a gradient, and one part of that gradient is semi-transparent. So now I can actually tick that, and I've got this background that is semi-transparent with the green that we like to use. And now here I can go to add, go to blog, and it's going to pop our blog posts in there. As you can see, we've got a few entries. The problem is, you only want one on there. So post count, we're going to change to 1. And keep in mind, we are going to be doing a full video on creating a blog page. I've actually got another one already existing, but I'm going to do a new one. So we got our latest blog post there. We can also add in some elements. So posts, we can also choose things like pages, projects. So it doesn't have to be just a blog post. We can choose a category if we want to. So you've got a few options there. You can use the post excerpt. There's a lot there, but under elements, I'm going to turn some of this stuff on and on. I'm going to say show read more button, and it's going to take a minute to load. You see we've got a little read more there, a bit hard to read, but we'll get there. Now we can go to, I'm going to take off the author, the date, and the categories. I'm only going to show the excerpt, and because we don't want to be sitting there scrolling through one post at a time, we're going to remove the pagination. And now we have that there. A little bit hard to read, but we're getting there. Now if I go over to design, there's read more text. I can actually make that capitals if I want to, or I can simply capitals there. I've got a few options to sort of style that how I want. I can make the text size a bit bigger. I can add a shadow. And I'm going to leave it actually as green at the moment because I'm going to make that background white. So I'm going to tick that, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to make this full column like its own little area. So going into so we've got our section, we've got our row, and then we've got our columns with the content. I'm going to go into the row settings, so the green area with the cog, and you see we have our columns here. I can switch them back and forth and rearrange them. I'm going to go into the cog setting here and change the background to white. So now we have this cool section off to the left that's in white. However, there is a problem. Everything is right up against the edges. So what we do need to do is head over to design and spacing to add in some padding. So we're going to say 30 and 30. And then 30 and 30. So we've got 30 padding all the way around. Now we have some spacing around that section. And just to give it a little bit of life, we're going to go down to box shadow, add a shadow, and maybe we'll even add a very slight border. So maybe we'll get this green for the border color down here, bump up the width, and just give it a little bit of a, make it pop off the page a little bit. Click tick. So now we have this section here with latest blog post off the page. But what if they're looking for the blog itself? Well, we're going to go plus, add a button. We're going to go see our full blog. And here's the thing. I've been going up and copying the text, copying the links from a navigation. But in Divi, you can actually click on this little icon here, which is dynamic content. And I can choose a page link. And it'll actually, if I scroll down, let me choose a page. blog and click tick. That's another way you can add page links there. So now we have a blog section on our page. And if I zoom out a little, our page is starting to come together. We've got this nice header, we scroll down, a bit of information, what we offer, and a blog post. And I'm going to create a nice little link here to our portfolio. So I'm going to click add new module. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to create an image. So I'm going to go here to images. Now I don't know why a lifestyle blog would have a portfolio, so this is purely an example. And I can choose one of these images if I want to, something like that. So I'm not really sure exactly what I'd want to choose in this instance, but I am going to run with the surfing guy here just for the hell of it. So maybe you want to have, if you were running a portfolio, some kind of image that displays your work. And then we're going to add another call to action saying view our portfolio. We might just simply leave it as click here for now. Now, like I said before, we end up with a background. I'm going to go down to the background here and just make that black. So now our call to action actually has a black background, and it actually kind of works against that. I'm going to highlight this text here and just say, I'm going to say, see the results we've achieved in the past. And the link, once again, I'm going to click on dynamic content page link, scroll down and choose portfolio and tick. Now, the other thing is, if I tick out of that, we now have some space there. I can go back in to design and play with the spacing there. So the margin, I'll just say 0 for the top. But I also need to adjust the margin on this. And if you're not sure the difference between margin and padding, margin is space outside of an object and padding is space inside of an object. So when we added padding in here before, we added space inside this white area. If we were to add a margin, then the whole border would actually move away because we're creating space outside of the box. So I'm going into the image section here, going to design and down to spacing and margin. Now at the bottom I'm putting 0. So now the image connects up with this box. So we have this cool little section here with that on the left, image, and a call to action on the right. And we can keep going from there. Now, one more thing I'm going to touch on just before we move on to our little contact call to action is that these are actually different sizes, and maybe you don't like the look of that. So we're going to go back into our row settings. On the design tab, we're going to choose sizing and equalize column heights. And now you'll see this column is the exact same height as the next column. So we get this nice consistent look. Okay, so the final thing we're going to do is create a little call to action for our contact page. So we're going to click add a section. I'm going to go full width, and I'm even going to add a call to action here again. Now, obviously, you can play with the different modules you have to further customize this. Like I said, this is more of a guideline. I'm going to leave this for now, although I will turn the background off and click tick. And I'm going to focus on the row itself by going into the section itself by clicking on the blue cog. I'm going to make this background black, and I'm going to choose an image. So add a background image. I'm just going to choose this sort of like sand image here, just to give something a little bit different. And once again, it's a little bit hard to see, so I'm going to add in a gradient. So I'll grab gradient, make it black, semi-transparent, place it above, and I'm going to change the direction a little bit just for a different effect, and now we're good to go. So, I mean, you got the idea. We've got our title here. We can say contact us to get started. You can add in some information. Our team are here to help, so feel free to get in contact anytime to live your life to the fullest potential ever. Now, I'm actually going to say get started today because there's something I want to touch on here. If I go down to this link, I add the link in. So once again, a page link. contact, tick. This doesn't look too bad, but this line of text, it's actually a bit long, and some people might not really want to read a bit of text that long. And I don't want to add in a break manually, because then if we go to a phone, we might get this thing where we get so if I do that, we'll show you. So if I add that in, it looks fine there. But then what happens when I switch to, say, phone view? It still doesn't look too bad, but it's sort of got an unnatural break there. And depending on certain widths of the screen, this could be a bad thing. So I'm going to go back to full desktop view. Zoom in a little bit. Oops, back to full desktop view. And I'm going to open this up. I'm going to just hit delete there. And I'm going to actually cap the width of this. So going to design, sizing, I can choose a max width again of 600 pixels. And that's a good width. It's off to the left now, so under module alignment, I click center. And now we can even adjust it and go, well, it'd be better if that was a bit more even. So maybe we try 520 pixels. And that's not looking too bad. Maybe we'll just keep going. So that looks pretty good. Nice and square and even. And the good news is, because we've used max width, it won't be too wide for any viewports. And then as we make everything smaller, it will still split on the 3 lines quite effectively. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little logo in here just at the top. So plus, add an image. Add our logo. It is absolutely gigantic. So we're going to go into design, sizing again, max width, let's say 200 pixels, centered. Still a bit too big, 120 pixels, centered. And then we're just going to move this up. And essentially, I'm going to save this because this is the page. Now, I do recommend, I'm going to go through in a second, we're going to check this out on mobile, make sure everything looks the way we want it to. But do make sure you actually try this out on your phone or your tablet to get sort of truer results. But we've created this home page here. It's got a bit of information. It sends people where we need to send them. We've got a link here. They click on for free information. A blog post with a link to the portfolio, and of course, if they're ready to contact us, a little contact button down the bottom. So pretty easy, but a lot of work. But considering it's been less than an hour, we've created a full page in less than an hour, and we've kind of just made it up as we went along. So that's pretty good. Now, we do want to check it. So down the bottom here, if you don't see this little purple toggle turns on and off, which I should have mentioned earlier, you can go over here to tablet, and we can see how it looks in tablet view, which is not too bad. However, one obstacle, this image is just a little bit too huge. So what I can do is hover over it, choose the cog symbol, and under advanced, I'm going to go down to visibility, and I'm going to disable it on tablet and phone. Now we can still see it there because it's just been grayed out, so we can still edit it. Otherwise, we're happy with that. We switch to phone. And again, everything is lining up and looking pretty good. So I'm going to exit the Visual Builder and save. And we've essentially created our homepage. So that's just one way you can do it. That's not the definitive way to create a homepage for your site. It's just to give you an idea of what's possible, and then obviously use a bit of problem-solving skills to figure out how to get exactly what you want. But before we go ahead, I'm going to just come out of full screen for a sec on this. And I'm going to just click inspect. And I'm going to bring up this little thing here and choose this tablet. So now we can actually, if we have dimensions, responsive, we can choose to try this at different sizes here. Now if you scroll down, you'll notice that image is gone. If I keep resizing, it comes back. So it actually allows me to have certain elements appear on desktop and disappear on tablet or mobile. So that's another thing you can do to see how your website's looking. And of course, this is zoomed out. I can zoom right out if I want to and see the full page from a distance. Okay, so that's it. That's pretty much the video for now. Now, we've got more videos coming. Like I said, we're going to be looking at building a full website with Divi, and we're going to keep on adding to this list over time. So there's already a few videos here, but we're going to keep adding to this because we want to make it basically a full resource. So if you want to build any website or anything with Divi, you've got as much information at your fingertips as possible in this playlist. So if you do want to see more of these videos, please consider subscribing, and that way you'll be alerted. Hit the bell button as well to be alerted when we get more of these videos done. Otherwise, if you have any questions or things you'd like to see, leave a comment. Like the video if you like it, and of course, if you want to check out Divi, if you are watching this and you don't have the Divi theme, check out the link I'm going to pop up on the screen. This theme, I've built close to 100 websites with it, with my web design business, and it is absolutely fantastic. And like I said, all those customizations you can do, they're all there in that design tab. You can make things very customized, but when you set things up correctly in the theme customizer in one of our previous videos, it makes the job so much quicker as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day. Talk to you again soon.